The Tipping Point with Mike Tipton is brought to you by Dubby. What is Dubby? Dubby is a clean energy drink that is made to give you focus with no crash, jitters, or angst like those other energy drinks have. They also have no maltodextrin fillers and don't use artificial dyes. Dubby contains vitamins, amino acids, a nootropic, and 150 milligrams of caffeine. Dubby's products are made in the USA in an FDA-inspected facility that strictly adheres to GMP manufacturing guidelines. All of the flavors are unique and custom-made by Dubby, and you'll never taste our taste anywhere else. The best part about it is they're affordable. Dubby's drinks come out to about $1 per drink, much cheaper than Starbucks or any of those canned energy drinks. To learn more, visit w.gg.com/discount/MRTipton33 and place your order today. Use promo code MrTipton33 and save today. Dubby Energy, be better. What's going on, everybody? I want to tell you about my new friends over at Cleverman. Visit them online at becleverman.com. What they gave me was the energizing face and beard scrub along with the Cleverman face scrubber. And trust me when I say this, the energizing face and beard scrub smells amazing. Combining it with the face scrubber, making sure that your boy was looking as good and sexy as possible, opened up a whole different sensation in my face that I haven't ever felt before. I felt so clean, so fresh, and so clean, like Outcast said, and it helped me feel like I was ready for my day. Make sure you visit them online at becleverman.com and follow them on Instagram at clevermannyc. The link is up in my bio if you want to check out all the amazing products they have. Visit them online, becleverman.com. It is time for the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton, hanging out with you here on this Thursday morning, right? I believe it's Thursday. Time has escaped me. I no longer understand what the concept of time is. I'm just some dude trying to live the life the best way that he can. That was a little dark, so I had to turn it up. Sorry about that. Got high-end cameras here, guys. It's what we do on the Tipping Point with Mike Tipton. Hope that everyone's having themselves a great Thursday morning so far. Hydrate. Make sure you are hydrating all the way through. That's how you can keep this perfect skin, this porcelain skin, just like mine. Kent Jari tuning in right now. Hope that you're having a great time today, Kent Jari. Thank you so much for coming back. I know yesterday you said that you live in another country. I'm guessing it's Hong Kong because you said Hong Kong in your name right there, or I guess that's Hong Kong. But, well, what country are you in? What country is everybody coming from? Nico saying Alibaba. I don't know what that means. My apologies. But you can tell me, translate it for me. Maybe it means something good. I hope so. Kent Jari's over in the Philippines. That's awesome. I've always wanted to visit the Philippines. That's been one of the places that's like on my list of areas that I would like to go visit one of these days. I have a friend, whenever I lived in Alaska, I was surprised at the Filipino population in Alaska. But I had a friend that just kept talking about how he was from the Philippines. He would always go back and visit and do all that stuff. So I want to go. I need to find my way out there in one of these days. And I think I got like an acquaintance of a friend or however you would talk about it that like actually owns a house in the Philippines as well. Like he's a Vietnam War veteran, but he bought a house in the Philippines and like goes out there and lives 6 months out of the year. Like that to me sounds like the life. So maybe that's something I should look into doing as well. And always on my list of places that I wanted to go visit was the Philippines. As you know, we always start this show talking a little bit about what we learned yesterday in the world of sports. and going over to the ESPN website. Again, like yesterday's show, I spoke a little bit about how you can't compare Kawhi Leonard to Steph Curry. And I kept hearing all these things like, what's the legacy of Kawhi Leonard? What's this? What's that? Steph Curry, Kawhi, the rivalry and all that other stuff. And it got me thinking about this. And I thought to myself, as much as I love Kawhi Leonard, as a Spurs fan, he's a former San Antonio Spur, wasn't happy with the way that he left. But with as much as I love Kawhi Leonard, you can't make that comparison. Then we fast forward to yesterday's game, and I'm watching that game, and I'm conflicted, right? Because I do like Steph Curry, I do like Kawhi Leonard. I just wanted to have a fun game. I wanted to see something awesome happen in that game, and it was a pretty fun game. Comes down to the last minute or so. Tommy tuning in saying, "What's up, Tip? What's up, Tommy? Hope that you're having yourself a great day." We are talking about the LA Clippers and the Golden State Warriors yesterday. Steph Curry goes into God mode, drops all his buckets. We spoke about this. The second Steph Curry gets warmed up, your team is done. End of discussion. Once Steph starts hitting those crazy shots, your team is done. Nothing you can do to stop it. The Warriors knock out the LA Clippers from having a shot at going into the playoffs. Once again, the play-in tournament is not the playoffs, but they knocked the Clippers out of the play-in tournament. And it struck me hard yesterday that the last time a Kawhi Leonard team has won a playoff series was 2020. So we're going on 6 years now, 5 years now. It might have been 2021, but it's been at least 5 years, half a decade since a Kawhi Leonard-led team has won a playoff series, just a singular playoff series. And they just keep getting bounced out of the first round, out of the play-in tournament, time and time and time again. And it's wild because this year, Kawhi Leonard had career highs, right? Career highs in points per game. I think it was almost 28 points per game. Career highs in rebounds, assists. Like he is still a somewhat dominant player. But you look at like the talent that he had around him last year whenever he had James Harden and he had Paul George, and you're like, wow, that's a pretty decent team. Like maybe they should be able to do something. And they just don't. And you look at James Harden in Cleveland right now, and Cleveland's one of the better teams in the NBA. If Cleveland made a deep playoff run, you wouldn't be surprised by it. But I'm watching the LA Clippers yesterday, and I just, the self-destruction that they had. Early in the game, they get out to a big lead. The Warriors fight back. The Clippers, stop the run, stop the bleeding, get out to a big lead again. The Warriors fight back. They're just doing that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But in that fourth quarter, it just felt like the Clippers had no shot. And they really didn't. Again, like whenever Steph Curry gets in that mode, it's done. Your team is just done for, right? Steph Curry had 35 points in 36 minutes, 7 of 12 from 3. 7 of 12 from 3 for Steph Curry. Whenever you do that, you can't stop it. The Prototype saying hi. Hello, Prototype. Hope that you're having yourself a great day today. Kent Jari saying, I love your vids. I appreciate that so much, Kent Jari. Although I got to think about it, like most of my YouTube videos are just me, like this, right? So I appreciate that. But I'm also questioning as to why. But yeah, disappointed in the LA Clippers. And again, like I didn't have a whole bunch of expectations for the Clippers. I also kind of felt that the Clippers were going to lose that game last night. Golden State's the record isn't indicative of how good Golden State actually is. So for me, it's like it is what it is. But it's still just one of those shocking things of Kawhi Leonard not getting a playoff win in 5 years. It's been a long time since he's been considered one of the dominant players. Like, he's still a good player, but he's not one of the dominant players anymore. He hasn't had the staying power that like Steph Curry had, that LeBron had. Obviously, no one has the staying power that LeBron James had. But you just kind of expected a little more. Like the way that he went over there, this is going to be the time where I'm happy. I'm home in LA, this and that, and blah, 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 blah. And the thing is like, if I'm the Clippers, I'm obviously not going to win with Kawhi Leonard. So now I got to find a way to get rid of him. You got to trade him for something. I'm still sure that there's trade value in Kawhi Leonard, but what are you going to be able to get from him? What are you going to be able to get if you go out there and shop around a normally hurt, going to miss a handful of games, Kawhi Leonard? Like, it's just going to be that way. His peak value was with the San Antonio Spurs, and now he's just not at that level. He's not that caliber of player that he was, a decade ago. Obviously, right? Like, time does all kinds of stuff. The prototype saying, love your vid. I appreciate the love. Like, subscribe. That's all I ask for. If you're over on YouTube, like, subscribe. Let's build those numbers up, baby. That's the goal. I appreciate that, though, prototype. Thank you so much. Maybe that should be my thing. Every time someone says that they love something about these videos, I drink some water so I can stay hydrated. I would die. I would die of thirst. I've only had 2. It's been on these 2. I appreciate y'all. LA Clippers disappointed, but that means the Golden State Warriors move on, and it'll be the Golden State Warriors facing off against the Phoenix Suns. That should be fun. So let's see who the 8 seed is going to be, who's going to be fed up as a tribute, basically, to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I still believe in the Golden State Warriors. Maybe I'm a crazy person, but you got to think, man, that core that they have, again, just a few years removed from a championship. They won the championship in 2022. Right? Like, they still got a lot of championship experience on there. They've got Steph Curry, the baby-faced assassin. I think Golden State's going to win that game against Phoenix. Like, I was watching Phoenix against the Portland Trailblazers, and I was not impressed with what Phoenix was able to do. Portland is not a dominating team. San Antonio should have no problem with Portland, but Phoenix being the 8 seed, I guess it doesn't matter who wins between Phoenix and Golden State. Oklahoma City is going to be overwhelming, but I feel like Golden State would have some sort of fight in them. Maybe it's a gentleman's sweep, but it's not going to be a completely dominant. I say that now. Watch it be absolutely dominant. Watch Shea and them just massacre what goes on there. And then I was wrong yesterday. I said Orlando was going to beat Philadelphia. The 76ers shut me the hell up. I should have known better. Anytime I bet on the 70 or bet against the 76ers, that comes back and bites me in the rear end. Tyrese Maxey leading the way for the 76ers. Played 42 minutes, 31 points for Tyrese Maxey. Paul George in there with 16 points. 19 points from Kelly Oubre. We mentioned that a little earlier. 14 and 10 from Andre Drummond, who's still somehow out there. Ken Jari asking, what time is it in your country? In this part of the United States, it is 8:14 in the morning. El Paso, Texas, 8:14 in the morning. Super early. I know it's a little dark, but it's because I get migraines. I have to have a nice dark area. I got lights up there. I should not have looked up at those lights because now my eyes hurt a little bit, but it's okay. We're surviving. We're thriving. We're doing our thing. The Philadelphia 76ers, when they become the 7th seed, they're going to be taking on Boston. Boston should dispatch them pretty easily. It'll be fine. It'll be all right. Everything will be okay. Everything is awesome. But that means that Orlando is now going to play against the Charlotte Hornets to see who is going to be the 8th seed in the Eastern Conference to face the Detroit Pistons. Detroit, once again, a really good team. Like, I love what Detroit is doing over there. I think Detroit's got some firepower. Cade Cunningham is the truth. If you haven't been watching Detroit Piston basketball, yes, I do start my live at 8 o'clock in the morning. Just to peel it back a little bit, because I do know that there are some new people on here. I used to do radio here in El Paso, Texas, sports talk radio, but basically whatever you guys want to talk about is how I kind of do the show. As long as it's, nothing crazy. And even sometimes if it's a little crazy, I might lean into it. But yeah, used to do radio and all that stuff. Found a nice landing spot a couple of years ago, 8 o'clock in the morning, worked perfectly for me. I get to walk my kids to school, do my show, go to work, repeat. It's an easy time for me. So yes, 8 o'clock in the morning is the time that I start my live. I'm normally up by 6 anyway, so might as well just actually do something before I go to work instead of just being lazy. And as you can tell, drink a lot of water. I already finished my coffee. Maybe that's why I feel like I'm talking a million miles a minute. I've already finished my coffee. Now I'm drinking some water because you got to stay hydrated. You got to take care of yourself. You got to make sure you look good. Nice, smooth, hydrated skin. Probably shouldn't have done that. That came off a little creepy. My bad, guys. My bad. In the Western Conference, like I said, we have the Warriors playing the Phoenix Suns. That should be a fun matchup, but again, leaning more towards the Golden State Warriors in this one. All right. Oh, man, that went down for a minute. Now I got to bring that back up. Looking at the NFL, I think what we're going to have to do is kind of like what we did last year, but I don't have enough time to do it like division by division. So I'm going to do 2 divisions a day starting next week. That's actually going to be a little difficult because I'm not going to be able to do a Wednesday show because the El Paso Chihuahuas are in town and we have a day game then. So I've got to be at work at 8 o'clock in the morning that day. But I will figure it out. Maybe we do conference, right? We'll do the NFC and then we'll do the AFC on the Mike Tipton draft board. So I got to get that set up and all that getting, ready to go. We'll have our mock draft next week. Again, restarting the show, doing all this stuff. Kind of has my time frames a little messed up, but we will bring back our draft coverage. Won't be able to make it to this year's NFL draft. It kills me because my guys from Bob, Jim, and Pat Get Drunk on the Internet, James Steele, Pat Costello, are going to be in Pittsburgh for the NFL draft. And my goofy ass is going to be over here in El Paso putting together a hell of a product, a great product for the El Paso Chihuahuas. Ken Jari asking, am I live every day? Yes, Monday through Friday, I'll be live at 8 a.m. And then here in El Paso on Saturdays, I also have a show. It's called Fire and Ice. And we are live from Buffalo Wild Wings. That's at noon. So 4 hours later. I guess for you, that's going to be, oh, man, that's like 2 o'clock in the morning, isn't it? Man, I would not expect you there. But seeing you here right now, 10 o'clock at night, that's awesome. Again, I appreciate it. Sorry, y'all got a text message. So I might have to end today's show a little early. We'll go until 8:30 today. Sorry about that. Got to get to work a little bit earlier today. It's all good, though. It's fine. I'm happy. I'm a good guy. I'm happy with it. But today's show is going to end at 8:30 because of that text message I just got. So no worries. No problems right there. Let's go ahead and, again, like I said, NFL draft. We'll talk about that coming up. I'll break it up into the 2 conferences. Monday will be the AFC. Tuesday will be the NFC. We'll put together a whole draft board. We'll go over the whole thing. We'll go over the needs that they need. And then Thursday morning, we will do our first draft, our first round mock draft. That's what we'll do. Tommy Cananza saying duty calls. It is wild, man. They told me, get into sports and life will be easier. I always thought, nah. But you know what? I can't complain, man. I would never be able to do, because I tried doing it whenever I was a teacher and stuff like that. Loved being a teacher, don't get me wrong. Didn't like the weird stuff that kind of goes along in the behind the scenes type stuff. I don't like the normal 9 to 5, put on a tie, do all that stuff type of job. I like a job that's super challenging. And being in sports production for two teams, for two different leagues, is, I mean, it's challenging, but it's fun. It's so rewarding whenever you actually get to see the product on the field. Like yesterday, I was out at the Palomino Tavern. Shout out to them. That's a great location over there on Cincinnati Street. The El Paso Locomotive lost to the MLS team, the Houston Dynamo, 4-1. Locomotive played a man down basically the entire game, but it was a fun game. We got one goal, which means we got one free shot of tequila for the whole bar. It was a great time for your boy. Hung out with some hardcore El Paso Locomotive fans, along with members of the El Paso Locomotive front office. It was a great time to be on out there. But the whole time I'm watching the game, I'm taking notes. This is what the MLS broadcast does. This is how they do this. This is what they do to make it like look fun and all that other stuff. So I will strive to get to there. Kent Jari asking, what is your job? I am the manager of game presentation and live events for Mountain Star Sports Group. So the El Paso Chihuahuas and El Paso Locomotive. Basically, the TV broadcast that you see for MILB.TV or for the El Paso Locomotive on ESPN Plus and all that other stuff out there. What you see on TV, we're doing all the background stuff, working the cameras, working the audio system, everything like that. And then, of course, what you see in the venue, the stuff that's on the video board, all the music and all that stuff, that is your boy. Me and my crew, we are doing that. We are working hard all the time. We have a video board that went down, which is why I got to get to work a little early, so that way we can make sure this video board is back up and running by Saturday. And shout out to what they've already built there in the past with the El Paso Locomotive and El Paso Chihuahuas. I just took over something. I didn't even really take it over, but like I was handed something that was already working really well. So we're just improving on what was already good. But it's a fun job. Like, it really is a fun job. I just thought, like, over the last 10 years, my job has been centered around sports. What a lucky guy, right? Like, it hasn't been easy by any means, but I just get to hang out, watch sports, drink beer, have me a good old time with some Budweisers, some Steve Weisers. That was a very bad Stone Cold Steve Austin impersonation. But yeah, that's what I do, Kent Jory. And I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love it. It can be a pain in the ass sometimes, but I absolutely love it. There's nothing like watching a live broadcast that you help create. Nothing like that at all. Speaking of the NFL draft, the LA Raiders, LA Raiders, damn, I'm old. The Las Vegas Raiders have been approached about trading the number 1 overall pick. And we kind of spoke about this, I want to say on either Tuesday or Monday, but we did kind of mention it a little bit out there, right? If I had the number 1 overall pick, I think I'm trading it. And I didn't get to look this up until right now, so let me go ahead and type it in. So whenever you trade the number 1 overall pick, and I like what Google's saying here, is that it's considered a massive ransom, technically returning multiple high-value draft picks, first-rounders, and frequently high-end established players. Recent trades involve a package of 2 or more first-round picks, second-round picks, and a starting caliber wide receiver. In 2023, whenever the Bears traded, or whenever the Panthers, rather, traded with the Bears to get the number 1 overall pick, Chicago received wide receiver DJ Moore, the number 9 pick in the 2023 first round, a 2023 second rounder, a 2024 first rounder, which became the number 1 overall pick, and a 2025 second rounder for 1 pick. So they were able to get all that for just 1 pick. The Las Vegas Raiders have so many more issues than just a quarterback, right? Like, you're more than a quarterback away. And then I got to think about teams that might be close that would trade to maybe get a guy like Fernando Mendoza, have him sit behind a starter for a little bit, and then build into the future. One team that I could think of doing that would be the Seattle Seahawks because, yeah, Sam Darnold won you a Super Bowl last year, but how long do you want to keep Sam Darnold? And I get it that he's on a cheap contract, but how long do you want to keep that guy there? You know what I mean? So why wouldn't you trade a couple of first-round draft picks? You already won a Super Bowl. You have a Super Bowl caliber team, maybe not at the running back position, but you have something there. Why not get your quarterback of the future, have him sit behind a guy like Sam Darnold, who learned, and we can say this flat out now, who was able to turn it around by playing for Kyle Shanahan and playing for Kevin O'Connell, two great offensive minds in the NFL, was able to teach him how to be an NFL quarterback once again. You have that now teaching Fernando Mendoza, as opposed to just throwing him into the fire that the Las Vegas Raiders are going to be. Because that's not going to be a good place for anybody to land. And I know they got Brock Bowers, and I know they got Ashton Genty, and maybe, just maybe, they've got some building blocks there. He learns under Kirk Cousins, right? But as the number one overall pick for a bad team, you are going to be expected to start at some point in time in your career. Or in your first season. It just happens that way to begin with. If I'm Vegas, I don't do that. I find a way to trade, get as much capital as I can, and now that's assets that I can use to help build my team, build it in the future, right? We think about what made those Dallas Cowboys teams of the 90s so great was they traded the best player they had in Herschel Walker and got a ton of draft picks from the Minnesota Vikings. They made a bunch of other trades as well, but that's always the one that sticks out. And they were able to build a core nucleus of players around some guys that they had that were talented, around Troy Aikman, around Michael Irvin. They were able to build an entire core of a team because of what they did in the draft. If you're the Las Vegas Raiders right now, you are nowhere near a contender. Even with Fernando Mendoza, you're more than likely going to be the worst team in your division, and you're just going to keep going forward that way. So why spend one pick on one guy when you can flip that pick and grab, all, as it says here, a massive ransom for what that pick can give you? It would be insane, absolute insanity to not trade away that pick, especially if you're a bad team. Now, whenever Chicago had it, Chicago had some building blocks there. You saw how good they got last year with Caleb Williams. They had some building blocks there. There's nothing in Vegas. You can't even say they've got a good defense. They don't have a good defense. They have a decent tight end and a underachieving second-year running back now. That, to me, is not the building blocks of success. Find a team that's like a fringe playoff team, right? Let's talk this out. Let's think this out. Maybe you contact Detroit's going to need a quarterback coming up soon. Cleveland, I wouldn't contact Cleveland. Pittsburgh, Fernando Mendoza in Pittsburgh, that wouldn't be too bad, right? Going through like teams here, you don't need the Bills. The Dolphins, I think, again, like with the talent the Dolphins have, having Devon Achane there, saying that they're not going to trade Devon Achane as well, like, you got something. But I would find a fringe team that needs a quarterback, that is like a quarterback away, that can afford to have a quarterback sit for a little bit, learn under the starter, and then come back. That's who you got to target. But if you're the Raiders right now, I agree with you, Tommy. I do think that they're going to take Mendoza. They're just so bad that that's not a good draft pick. And that's not a way to set him up for success either. Because you also have to remember, he's an undersized quarterback. They're talking about it. He's got those tiny little hands. He's a smaller quarterback. He might not be able to, last long because of how tiny he is. And that's not me being a hater. That's just, how the game is. Whenever you're a small little guy, You can't go all the way in. It's just the tip.
I just want to put the tip in.
It's time for
Just a Tip.
That would make me uncomfortable.
Promise that it ain't too much, but just enough. Just a tip. Just a tip.
Just the tip? Just the tip.
It's time for Just the Tip.
Just the Tip is brought to you by our friends over at www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton and save on all your male grooming needs. We have the comfort powder, the comfort cream, everything you need to feel your best and no longer nasty and sweaty down below. They've got sweat and chafe protection, shower stuff. I wash myself with the Big Wood body wash. I smell amazing each and every time. Grooming devices like the Balber to make sure your boys are looking as nice and smooth as they possibly can without any of the nicks and cuts that you get from other razors. We've all been there. We know how it works. And then, of course, check out their discounted bundles as well. www.myhappynuts.com. Use promo code Mike Tipton at checkout and save on all your male grooming needs. Tommy says they're going to be bad. The Raiders are going to be bad next year. They got to use all these draft picks to build around him. But that's what I'm saying. You know that you're going to be bad. So why not trade him, get a bunch of draft capital, and now you have multiple first-round picks, multiple second-round picks, and you can build a better team as opposed to having a guy and then having to try to build around that one guy. It's so difficult to do it that way. You have to have the multiple first-round draft picks, the multiple second-round draft picks in order to really build around the team. And then, of course, you got to remember your division. Best case scenario for the Raiders, best case scenario, is that they're still fourth in the division. They're not going to be better than the Chargers. They're not going to be better than the Chiefs. They're not going to be better than the Broncos. Although if there is a year to be better than the Chiefs, it would be this year because no Patrick Mahomes for the first part of the season is going to be hard for the Kansas City Chiefs. But like I said, guys, it's got to be an abbreviated show. Got to head into work here in just a little bit. As always, I love and appreciate that y'all tune into the show. We will see you all tomorrow on Friday. It's a TIP VIP Friday. And yes, Augustine is going to be here. Will it be good? I don't know, but he'll be here. And that's all that matters. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you tomorrow, guys. Have a good day.